Chapter 51, Huangquan Sect. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This is the new version of Qingshan Sect that I worked hard to perform yesterday. You too take it and practice it carefully. Don't let your teacher down. Li Qingyun is holding a small yellow book in his hand, saying about Ping'an and Sun Liang said. Kindness. Ping'an screamed, took the small book excitedly, held it in his hands and started reading. Sun Liang, on the other hand, followed Ping'an obediently, apparently planning to wait until Ping'an finished watching him. Li Qingyun shook his head. This little Ping'an was still too young and didn't know how to be humble. This Sun Liang was still too innocent and doting on his junior brother. He was not in a good mental state at the moment. Last night, he wanted to open the storage bag he had obtained several times and count the loot, but found that he could not open it no matter what. He spent the whole night with no results. At this time, Feng Yong ran over from the main hall and said, Sect Master, there is a man in the main hall who claims to be from the non-Fu Huangquan sect. Do you want to come and meet him? Underworld sect. Take me to see it. In Li Qingyun's memory, the Huangquan sect was a 3-star sect in Nanfu, but the sect had begun to decline in the past few years. The 6th elder also mentioned yesterday that the Huangquan sect seemed to have been suppressed by the soul-destroying sect. As soon as he entered the main hall, a young man wearing a yellow patterned uniform who was originally waiting in the main hall stood up and greeted Li Qingyun. I have met Sect Leader Li, and I have long heard that Sect Master Li is handsome and handsome. When I saw him today, he really lived up to his reputation. Sect Master Li feels very refreshed today. He will reach a breakthrough in his cultivation soon. Although Sect Master Li's clothes look just like ordinary people's, they have a special temperament on you. This jade pendant of yours. A slap in the face with a slap in the face, making Li Qingyun confused and hurriedly replied. How dare you? I am over-flattered. Where there? Ashamed, ashamed. The man in front of me has 2 thick, black eyebrows, a pair of big eyes, a square face, a straight nose, and thick lips. He has a simple and honest look on his face. He does not look like such an unprincipled flatterer. Li Qingyun touched his chin. Could it be that this person has just started flattering and is not yet proficient? Forget it, it was still business that mattered, so he interrupted the man who was still looking for a place to praise Li Qingyun and said, I wonder what you are doing here. The man was stunned for a moment and said, I, Tang Yongho, the elder of Huangquan Sect's outer sect, was entrusted by the sect master to come to your sect to deliver a jade slip for transmitting information. Tang Yong said kindly, I have been cultivating in the sect all year round. I rarely go down the mountain to see people. I am not polite enough. I hope that Sect Leader Li will show his respect. Li Qingyun said, Where is it? Elder Tang has done all the etiquette. Li admires him very much, but there is no intention of blaming him. Really? Tang Yongho said in surprise. Of course it's true. There's nothing wrong with doing this from now on. Li Qingyun replied, Teach people to be polite and speak nicely, and there's a high probability that they won't go wrong. Yes, thank you Sect Leader Li for your advice. Tang Yongho was overjoyed, thinking that he often went out to meet important people, and indeed he was able to get their advice. Li Qingyun took Tang Yongho's sound transmission jade slip, and after a brief moment of sensing, a divine thought came from the jade slip. I, Huangquanzi, would like to remind Sect Master Li that the 2nd elder and the 7th elder of the soul-calling sect will launch an attack on your sect in 3 days. If the Qingshan Sect can survive this disaster, I will explain to Sect Master Li what will happen next. Turning around and looking, Tang Yongho was facing Li Qingyun with a simple and honest smile. It seems that Huangquanzi, the leader and supreme elder of the Huangquan sect, was sure that Tang Yongho, an honest man, would not have any thoughts about the sound transmission jade slips on the way, so he asked him to come and deliver the message. He said, Thank you, your sect master, for me, and let him wait and see. Tang Yongho hurriedly said yes and left without looking back. Li Qingyun's thoughts turned, and the Huangquan sect was actually able to obtain the information of the soul-capturing sect. It seemed that although the Huangquan sect was suppressed by the soul-capturing sect, it was not without the slightest ability to fight back. The news of the second elder and the seventh elder taking action against the Qingshan Sect 3 days later they can all be obtained. I guess they have planted ears and eyes near Sidiquan, and this Huangquanzi insisted on waiting until the second elder and the seventh elder took action against the Qingshan Sect before discussing future matters with the Qingshan Sect. It seemed that he wanted to test the strength of the Qingshan Sect. After all, no one wanted to cooperate with a burden, Li Qingyun thought to himself. Let you see if the Qingshan Sect is a burden. Tip: the low-grade spirit-gathering stones in the spirit-gathering array are about to be consumed. Please replenish the spirit stones in time, otherwise the spirit-gathering array will stop running. Li Qingyun said, Ah. Can't it last for a month? System, 1 month will pass in 2 days. It's so fast. Li Qingyun said, How much do you need to use the spirit stone? System, according to the current lowest power, 1,000 low-grade spiritual stones will be required every day. Li Qingyun wailed, robbing money. No need for spiritual stones. During the small competition between the two sects, the soul-catching sect's ransom and the gambling, he had only saved a total of 14,000 low-grade spiritual stones. This was 1,000 a day, and he would be emptied out in less than half a month, poor, but then he thought about it. The inner elixirs of the demonic beasts that he had killed with the help of the sect's formation had not yet been released. It seemed that it was time to go to Tianji Pavilion to do some business in the past 3 days and get some spiritual stones to strengthen himself. For those storage bags that I can't open, I guess Tianji Pavilion has a way to do it. By then, counting the spiritual stones in these storage bags, I can make a small profit. After these 2 hidden wealth are discounted, it will probably give him a surprise. Li Qingyun made up his mind and decided that time was running out, so he would set off for Dihua City today. Before setting off, Li Qingyun called Sun Liang and Pingyan. Lin Jixiao hasn't come to the sect for a long time. The spiritual field was supposed to be mature, but there is no news. You two should go down and see what's going on. The money from the spiritual field is also money, and the sect's industry must not be sloppy. Yes. Pingyan and Sun Liang looked at each other, their eyes full of excitement. They can go down the mountain again. Ding, a task is issued for the disciple. The task is quite difficult and not dangerous. 150 genius points are awarded. After the disciple completes the task, another 150 genius points will be awarded. Li Qingyun was delighted and told the two, Don't be too playful when you go down the mountain. Complete the task as soon as possible. You must complete it. You must come back within 2 days. Yes. The two agreed again, their eyes still full of excitement. Go down. Li Qingyun rubbed his head. Yang Hai Aoshue was in seclusion for cultivation and couldn't go with him. The old donkey was angry with him. When the donkey got angry, he was 100 times more stubborn than the cow and ignored him at all. Lu Bo was in poor health and definitely couldn't run around, so, this time on the trip to Dihua City, he had to go alone, but it's okay. He's freer by himself. You can go for a while, you can go for a while, places that are not convenient for 2 people to go. Chapter 52 Dihua City Branch. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dihua City, as the center of the entire Dihua Prefecture, has an extremely vast area, which is several times larger than Xuanhuan City under Qingshan Sect. Google search reading, there are also several beautiful hills outside the main city. It is said that there are several 1-star and 2-star immortal sects there for hermit cultivation. Because it is located in the center of Dihua City, the proportion of cultivators here is much higher than that of Xuanhuan City. Cultivators will attract a small number of onlookers in Xuanhuan City, but in Dihua City, it will only make the surrounding pedestrians slightly surprised and look sideways. On the most prosperous street in the main city, a Taoist priest with a dignified appearance, but obviously young and without a beard, stood in front of a 7-story corner tower. On the giant plaque on the corner tower, 3 large characters Tianji Pavilion were written in a flamboyant manner, followed by 5 small characters Dihua City Branch. The Taoist priest was Li Qingyun. At this time, he was not in a hurry to enter the Tianji Pavilion. Instead, he was attracted by the white boulder in front of the Tianji Pavilion. I think this stone is the Tianji stone that Han Li mentioned. The more Li Qingyun looked at it, the more he was amazed. This Tianji stone almost included all the information of the cultivation world in Dihua Prefecture, including the ranking of various sects, the power of various large families, the ranking of geniuses, and the realm of the strong. Li Qingyun saw that Qingshan Sect was only ranked 11th among the 42-star sects in Dihua Prefecture. Especially when he talked with people around him, he learned that it was even more excessive at the beginning, ranking only 37th, which made Li Qingyun very angry. Later, he thought that except for Han Li's arrival at the sect to determine the star, and the sect competition, Qingshan Sect directly showed its strength in the public eye, the rest of the time was in a state of rest and development, and he forgave the ignorance of this Tianji stone in his heart. Yi Yan, then, he narrowed his eyes slightly and saw the information of the soul-snatching sect in the position of the 3-star sect list. The first on the 3-star sect list is the soul-snatching sect. The sect leader, Lv Hun, was seriously injured 2 years ago and closed himself in the life and death temple. There is no news from him. The power of the sect is currently held by the great elder Huangquan, who is a Yuanian great perfection cultivator. Introduction. The sect has been established for less than 100 years, but the sect has developed extremely rapidly. Its influence has spread to most cities in Dihua Prefecture, overpowering Dihua Sect and becoming the strongest sect in this prefecture. Sure enough, the soul-snatching sect, which was originally entrenched in the West Prefecture, has now become the strongest sect in the entire Dihua Prefecture. Li Qingyun looked deeply at the information of the 4 families on the 3-star sect list: the soul-snatching sect, the Dihua Sect, the Huangquan Sect, the Xiaoyao Sect. After reading every word carefully, he turned and entered the Tianji Pavilion. "Senior, I wonder if you have any instructions?" As soon as Li Qingyun entered the Tianji Pavilion, a Qi training disciple came up to greet him. Li Qingyun looked at the binding of the Tianji Pavilion. Although it was not as grand as the main hall of the Qingshan Sect, it also had a unique flavor. "Ask your senior to come out," Li Qingyun said calmly. "Yes." The Qi training disciple agreed and turned to walk towards a small house. After a while, a cultivator with a beard who looked like a middle-aged man came over and said, "Dao Yu, follow me, please go to the 2nd floor." The middle-aged man obviously had a high level of cultivation, but what caught Li Qingyun's attention the most was that the middle-aged man was wearing the standard white robe of the Tianji Pavilion, indicating that he was the official deacon of the Tianji Pavilion. Li Qingyun followed the middle-aged man to the 2nd floor. The middle-aged man said, "I am Sun Liancheng, the white-robed steward of Tianji Pavilion. If you need any cooperation with Tianji Pavilion, please tell me." Li Qingyun said, "Find out some information." Sun Liancheng asked, "Find out information from Tianji Pavilion. It will cost different spirit stones depending on the level of the information." "Okay." Li Qingyun agreed. "First, I wonder if Han Li from your branch is in Dihua City recently." Li Qingyun thought to himself that Han Li had helped him so much, and he hadn't thanked him properly. This time when he came to Dihua City, he should pay a visit to him. Sun Liancheng looked at Li Qingyun with a very strange expression and said, "This message is free of charge." Han Li. Senior Han Li does not belong to the Dihua Prefecture branch. He came from above, and his movements are erratic. I don't know where he is recently. Li Qingyun noticed that Sun Liancheng was quite surprised that he called Han Li a fellow Taoist, and when he mentioned Han Li, his eyes were full of respect from time to time. In theory, Sun Liancheng is a deacon and Han Li is a senior deacon. A deacon should not have a tendency to worship someone who is only one level higher than himself. Could it be that Han Li hid his true identity? Li Qingyun suddenly said mysteriously, "The next information to be inquired may be a little secret. Is there any senior in your association at this time?" Sun Liancheng looked at Li Qingyun in surprise and said doubtfully, "I am sure that most of the information can be found. If it is not an important matter, please do not disturb the senior." Li Qingyun said, "This matter is extremely urgent and is related to a pill. Please ask the senior to come out." "A pill?" Seeing that Li Qingyun insisted on doing so, Sun Liancheng said, "Then I will go up and ask the senior, but if you make the senior unhappy, you will bear the consequences yourself." Li Qingyun said, of course, thank you, fellow Taoist Sunday. After about an incense stick of time, a light flashed in front of Li Qingyun, and a white-haired old man in a green robe appeared in front of Li Qingyun with Sun Lianqing. Li Qingyun hurriedly stood up and said, "Hello, senior." The white-haired old man said, "No need." After speaking, he sat in front of Li Qingyun. "This is Senior Lu, the most knowledgeable alchemist in our association. If you have any questions, you can ask him. I believe he can always answer you." Sun Lianqing said from the side. Sun Lianqing's words obviously impressed the old man. He glanced at Li Qingyun and stroked his beard proudly. At this time, Li Qingyun had already seen that this old man's behavior was relatively old-fashioned, but he liked good things, and he was certain that this kind of person might have some abilities, but he had obvious flaws in his character, and he was the easiest to deal with. He stood up quickly, his eyes were shining brightly, and he was shocked and said, "It turns out that this is Master Lu. Although the juniors are not in Dihua City, Master Lu's name has long been heard. I never expected to see Master Lu today. I am really frightened. Master Lu, please accept my prayers." Li Qingyun raised his arms, cupped his fists and moved forward, as if he was about to bow. "That's all. No need to be polite." The old man surnamed Lu sighed, looking calm like a worldly master recognized by his admirers. But at this time, he was already happy. He didn't expect that his reputation would be so famous that it would spread beyond Dihua Mansion and attract followers from other places. He said, "Since I have been recognized by you, and the two of you are destined to meet, it is fate. I have made the decision to spare you the information you inquired about today." Li Qingyun's eyes widened. He didn't expect that there would be an unexpected surprise. It seems that this old man really cares about his reputation. "Thank you, Master Lu." Li Qingyun looked filled with gratitude. After saying this, Li Qingyun took out the 10,000 souls pill from the storage jade pendant. "This junior is here to inquire about the 10,000 souls." Before he finished speaking, the old man surnamed Lu saw the elixir in Li Qingyun's hand, and his expression suddenly changed. He suddenly burst into cultivation, waved his sleeves, and moved Li Qingyun directly from the second floor to the third floor. Sun Lianqing was left on the second floor, facing the empty seats, with a confused look on his face. "Senior Lu, isn't he usually calm? Why was he suddenly so excited just now? Take someone directly to the third floor. What kind of elixir does this person have to come up with?" He still couldn't figure it out, but the third floor is where only nascent soul monks are qualified to go up. I've only been there once. Chapter 53, Three-Story Building. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This is the third floor of the Tianji Pavilion branch, with a formation that can isolate the world from prying eyes. Normally, only monks above the nascent soul stage are eligible to enter. There is no one on this floor now. The old man surnamed Lu saw Li Qingyun looking around curiously and explained. "That's it." Li Qingyun suddenly realized. "Can you show me that pill again?" The old man surnamed Lu asked. Li Qingyun saw a kind of burning heat emerging from the calm eyes of the old man named Lu. This kind of burning heat was like a monk seeing a beautiful naked beauty, a hungry vegetarian smelling the irresistible fragrance of meat, and a person with a dry body looking at it. A basin of fresh blood arrived, its desire, adoration, appreciation, fear. Li Qingyun handed the elixir to the old man surnamed Lu. The old man took the elixir and put it in front of his eyes. There was a look of intoxication in his eyes. Sure enough, it's something special, magical. The sound of gibbering came from his mouth. After a while, the old man surnamed Lu came back to his senses and smiled apologetically at Li Qingyun. "Sorry, I lost my temper and made you laugh." Li Qingyun said hurriedly, "Where is it?" "It's human nature and understandable. Although the 10,000 soul pill is an evil elixir, its refining technique is unique, and it is very inspiring for me in my alchemy. The recipe for the 10,000 soul pill has been lost for a long time, or in other words, for a long, long time. The recipe for the 10,000 soul pill was only controlled by certain big families and sects. Legend has it that the 10,000 soul pill comes from the netherworld. The elixir can convert the spiritual power of monks into the power of the netherworld. Li Qingyun asked, "What is the use of this netherworld power?" That the old man surnamed Lu showed a wry smile. Since the elixir has been lost for so many years, no one knows what the power of the netherworld does. This is the first time I have seen this kind of elixir in my life. Although this elixir is only a first-grade human-level elixir, its precious value even exceeds that of an ordinary 7th-level human-level elixir. Li Qingyun was silent, and after a while, he asked, "Does Master Lu know about the ghost spirit bead?" "What?" The old man surnamed Lu shouted. Li Qingyun said, "It's nothing, I just asked casually." The old man surnamed Lu took a deep look at Li Qingyun and said, "Your Excellency, please rest assured that all the deacons and senior deacons of Tianji Pavilion have already sworn an oath. If all customer information is leaked without permission, they will immediately tell the public. Collapse and die. I would like to ask, is there any connection between the ghost spirit pearl and the 10,000 soul pills?" Li Qingyun felt relieved and asked again. He would not be sure of the outcome of this matter even if he didn't ask. Ghost spirit pearl and 10,000 soul pills. The old man surnamed Lu muttered something in his mouth and fell into deep thought. After a while, the old man surnamed Lu came back to his senses, shook his head and said, "I just checked all the books in my storage space that may be related to this, and I didn't find any connection between the ghost spirit pearl and the 10,000 soul pill. I just found out that the ghost spirit bead is an energy core similar to the inner elixir of monsters. It's just that this kind of thing is only produced among ghosts above the heavenly realm. However, there have been no ghosts on the mainland for tens of thousands of years. So the information about the ghost spirit pearl is also very scarce." Li Qingyun nodded. "This information is enough, thank you Master Lu." "Wait a minute." The old man surnamed Lu handed over a jade slip and said, "The information is quite detailed. I have printed it on this jade slip." Li Qingyun glanced at the old man surnamed Lu in surprise. He originally had some prejudices against the old man surnamed Lu, but now that he saw that he really wanted to help him sincerely, he changed his mind about him. He took the jade slip and respectfully thanked him. Before leaving, Li Qingyun heard the old man surnamed Lu saying behind him, "The struggle between the soul-calling sect and your 3 sects, Qingyun Huangquan, Tianji Pavilion has been watching, and Senior Han Li is also paying attention, but among Tianji Pavilion it's not convenient for people to intervene, so you can do it yourself." Li Qingyun suddenly realized that this old man already knew who he was. This was a competition for power distribution between sects, and it was normal for Tianji Pavilion not to interfere. Moreover, this old man is also a senior deacon in the blue robe of Tianji Pavilion. Why is he even called senior by Han Li? He took the jade slip and walked down to the 3rd floor. He saw that Sun Lianqing was still standing stupidly on the 2nd floor where he was originally sitting. When he saw him coming downstairs, he hurriedly greeted him. "Why didn't you go up together just now?" Li Qingyun asked. "Ahem," Sun Lianqing coughed dryly. He couldn't just say that he was not qualified to go up, so he said, "Senior Lu has a bad temper, so I don't dare to go up rashly." Li Qingyun nodded, walked downstairs, and sat next to Sun Lianqing again. Sun Lianqing saw Li Qingyun's posture and said hurriedly, "I wonder if you need anything else. I heard that your Tianji Pavilion sells swordsmanship." Li Qingyun asked. Li Qingyu once got a sword in Lianghao's cave that was used during the Lianghao Jindan period. The sword was named Qingfeng sword by him. But he never used a sword in the subsequent battles, just because he didn't know how to use a sword at all. Using a sword without swordsmanship is worse than not using a sword. One of the purposes of his coming to Tianji Pavilion this time is to find a suitable swordsmanship, preferably at the secret level. Sun Lianqing said, "This is not for sale." "Oh. Tell me." Sun Lianqing said, "It's an exchange." Tianji Pavilion's subordinate organizations are spread across the entire continent. Tianji Pavilion exists in almost every place. It can be said that Tianji Pavilion relies on various information to become a behemoth, so information is particularly important to Tianji Pavilion. So, if the monk is willing to hand over his unique magic to Qingshan Pavilion will consider the value of the information he provides and give him feedback on the magic and even secret techniques. After hearing this, Li Qingyun not only thought of the word big data in his previous life, this Qingshan Pavilion used this big data-like method to basically collect information from all over the world. It is really a magical power. An organization. Okay. Li Qingyun readily agreed. Only what he can use in his own hands is useful. Giving it to Qingshan Pavilion will not bring any loss to him. Both of them can win-win. Just think about it and you will know that it is basically impossible to get something for nothing from here. Unexpectedly, Sun Lianqing looked embarrassed and seemed to hesitate to speak. Li Qingyun asked, "Is there any problem?" Sun Lianqing hesitated for a moment and said, "Although ordinary spells can also be submitted, under normal circumstances the branches will not accept them." Li Qingyun understood that Sun Lianqing was reminding himself that ordinary spells were not of high quality and were of little value to Qingshan Pavilion. And for Sun Lianqing, this kind of job is also thankless, so he would definitely refuse it directly under normal circumstances, but maybe seeing him today was a bit special, and he couldn't refuse himself for a while. Thinking of this, a smile appeared on Li Qingyun's face and he said, "Just take me there. As long as there is no rule that non-qualified skills will not be accepted, then just follow the rules." Sun Lianqing sighed helplessly and said, "Okay then. It seems that I am unlucky when I meet this unreasonable master today." Chapter 54, A Little Hypocrisy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sun Lianqing took Li Qingyun down, passed through the first floor, and walked to the underground floor, where they stood next to a crystal stone. Google search reading, "This stone is round and crystal clear, exuding a crystal white light," making Li Qingyun standing aside feel a feeling of comfort all over. Sun Lianqing said, "This is the body of the Qingshan stone, and it is also the core of the formation of the branch of Qingshan Pavilion. You can input your skill information into the Qingshan stone, and the Qingshan stone will automatically judge the value of your information." Geometry. Sun Lianqing looked at Li Qingyun on the side. He had already made plans to do this thankless job afterwards. When encountering this unreasonable and dismissive master, he could only admit that he was unlucky. Although Sun Lianqing was impatient, he still explained dutifully, "Qingshan stone will explain the value of the information you provide according to the changing color, and there will be someone above to review it, within one stick of incense after you enter it. Feedback will be sent to the branch. Generally speaking, white light means that the information is valuable. If the light turns blue, it can be exchanged for a secret-level spell." How much higher? No matter how high the stone is, it has never appeared on it. Sun Lianqing muttered, "No matter how high the grade of magic is, who is willing to use it?" Moreover, at the same time, he was also muttering in his heart, "Why do you care about high-level magic when you use some inferior magic?" Li Qingyun nodded. Although Sun Lianqing's emotions were well hidden, they were still reflected through his tone of voice and the micro-expressions on his face. He was too lazy to talk nonsense, and directly condensed the key points in his mind, turned it into a divine thought, and input it into the Qingshan stone. If you don't use high-grade skills, it is estimated that the Qingshan stone will be able to respond soon. Sun Lianqing said. The Qingshan stone's white light shone brightly, and then, countless mysterious runes quickly poured into the Qingshan stone. The runes are manifesting. Sun Lianqing was delighted. Could it be a relatively high-quality technique among the unqualified techniques? If that's the case, it's not like my trip was in vain, it's just that these runes are more than the ones I have seen before. What's going on? Li Qingyun grinned at Sun Lianqing, showing his white teeth, and the intensity of inputting the Qingshan stone suddenly increased. The runes and white light that were originally floating around the Qingshan stone first reached an extremely high level, and then suddenly stopped. Sun Lianqing looked at Li Qingyun with disbelief. The next moment, the Qingshan stone emitted a cyan light. The light turns green. Advanced skills. Sun Lianqing lost his voice and shouted directly, but the light on the Qingshan stone is far from stopping, and the cyan light is still rising rapidly at an incredible speed. Could it be? Sun Lianqing's heart was in his throat, and he felt that all his spiritual energy was stagnant. It's impossible. The blue light rose to an incredible level, even making Sun Liancheng, a monk who established the foundation of Dzogchen, have sore eyes, but Sun Liancheng didn't dare to blink, as the possibility in his mind grew bigger and bigger. Finally, the green light turned into yellow light. Light turns into gold. A powerful technique at the Xian level. Sun Liancheng's voice was trembling. Li Qingyun looked at Sun Liancheng's expression and chuckled. Is this a record broken now on this rock? Sun Liancheng nodded blankly. He calculated in his mind how many rewards he could get after completing this business. Finally, he concluded that the resources from these rewards were enough for him to break through from the foundation establishment Dzogchen to the golden elixir. Why is it that this person in front of me is unreasonable and has no wink? It's simply that I am unreasonable and has no wink. Fortunately, I have calmed down my emotions. Otherwise, I will regret it if I offend the noble. Sometimes being hypocritical is not necessarily a bad thing. Sun Liancheng thought proudly in his heart, and kept this sentence in his heart as a guide for his future work. Let's go. Li Qingyun said, don't you want to go back and wait for feedback from your superiors? Yes, yes. Sun Liancheng woke up from a dream and quickly took Li Qingyun back to the second floor. After Sun Liancheng respectfully settled Li Qingyun, he quickly ran into a secret room and anxiously waited for the results of the feedback from above. Li Qingyun sat leisurely on the chair and waited. As expected, the rhinoceros-horned leopard was ranked among the 1,000 evils, and eclipse wave was an innate secret method. Although the current rank was only the upper rank yellow rank, its value and power should have already been. It has reached the power of Xian level. Few people are willing to provide this kind of skill to Tianji Pavilion and Tianji Pavilion for exchange, because the innate secret skill is very precious, but Li Qingyun is different. He has a system that allows him to deduce the exercises and keep them evolving. What he gave to Tianji Pavilion today is the Huang level top-grade eclipse wave, even if this exercise has been learned by others, but a few years later. Eclipse wave could not be said to be a Xian level skill, or even a higher level skill. Li Qingyun had almost no losses, so exchanging with Tianji Pavilion to meet current needs was the best choice. Dong 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 dong. There was a sound of running feet on the floor. Sun Liancheng didn't even use his magic power. He held 2 jade slips in his hand and stepped on the floor quickly towards Li Qingyun. Congratulations. He ran to Li Qingyun and said loudly. He took out one of the jade slips and read, the Huangjia top-grade eclipse wave is a natural secret technique. It comes from the 931st rhinoceros horned leopard on the list of thousands of evils. It is very powerful. It has 1 technique and 2 secret techniques. It is of equal value. A mid-level magic technique at the Xian level. The guest is looking for swordsmanship, and we have collected a lot of swordsmanship in this pavilion. We specially give Yuelu swordsmanship, a mid-level swordsmanship at the Xian level. Sun Liancheng handed another jade slip to Li Qingyun and said, this is the Yuelu swordsmanship. Congratulations. Sun Liancheng congratulated again. Li Qingyun took the jade slip and said with a smile, congratulations to you too, fellow Taoist son, for making a big business. Sun Liancheng smiled and said, I completely rely on your support. Thank you very much. You're welcome. If you really want to thank me, just help me with one thing. Li Qingyun said. Sun Liancheng said hurriedly, please give me your instructions. Li Qingyun said, stop pretending, haven't you already known who I am, yet you keep talking about you and pretending not to know me. This, ahem. According to the energy of Tianji Pavilion, Sun Liancheng had indeed known Li Qingyun's identity for a long time, but he did not expect that Li Qingyun would directly reveal the unspoken rules, which made him feel a little embarrassed. I have a few demonic beast inner elixirs here. I'll give them to you. You can help me get them as soon as possible and exchange them for spiritual stones. The price must be reasonable. Li Qingyun said. This was also his purpose of deliberately making friends with Sun Liancheng. When he came to Dihua city, it was also one of his purposes to exchange the elixirs for spiritual stones. However, he had just arrived and was not familiar with the environment of Dihua city. It was difficult to find channels. Even if he found them, you may not be able to get a price that he is satisfied with. As the deacon of the Tianji Pavilion branch, Sun Lianqing has a high status in Dihua city. If he comes forward to sell the inner elixir for himself, I believe that those chambers of commerce can definitely give a fair price. I can give you a 10% benefit. Li Qingyun said. How dare you? Sun Lianqing said hurriedly, the benefits given by the above are enough. How dare Lianqing ask for the benefits of sect master Li? But what he was actually thinking was, it's just a few spiritual stones, how much are they worth? Just treat it as a favor and return it to Li Qingyun. That's fine. Li Qingyun took out 10 golden elixirs and 2 nascent soul demon beast elixirs from his jade pendant, and handed them to Sun Lianqing. Sun Lianqing. His hand that took the demon pill trembled slightly. At this time, his intestines were filled with regret. There were so many demon pills, but they were still high level. Li Qingyun, you. Can you speak clearly? You downplayed such a valuable thing and said it was just a few demon pills. There are so many demon pills, and 10% of the benefits are enough to last for decades. Sometimes hypocrisy is not necessarily a good thing, remember the lesson. Sun Lianqing looked serious and took this sentence as a warning to guide his work. Chapter 55 What kind of monsters are these? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Pretending to be careless, he handed over the storage bag that he was helpless to handle to Sun Lianqing, and after making an appointment with him to meet the next day, Li Qingyun spent 500 spirit stones and entered the secret room of Tianji Pavilion. 69.c The elder of the Soul Capture Sect will come to Qingshan Sect in 2 days, and he must seize every minute to strengthen himself. The concentration of spiritual energy in the secret room of Tianji Pavilion is roughly the same as the concentration of spiritual energy gathered in the sect's spirit gathering array, but it is many times smaller than the area in the sect, Li Qingyun thought with pain. The sect only collects 1,000 spirit stones per day in such a large area, but a small secret room here costs 500. I always say that the system is bad, but it seems that the system is good enough for me. It seems that if we want to use the spirit gathering array for a long time, we still have to find a way to get some spirit gathering stones. However, most of the spirit gathering stones are in the hands of large sections. At that time, Wan Ruhai just happened to appear once at the banquet. That's all. At this time, the system sent a message. Ding, Sun Liang and Ping En's mission is completed, and the remaining 150 genius points will be rewarded. Host qualifications, cultivation value, 480, Pika foundation building, spiritual roots, 6 spiritual roots, foundation building, super grade Dao foundation, Kung Fu, Qingyun Ju yellow level top rank, secret method, blue stone, Deshang, eclipse wave, introduction, genius points, 400 inch. Blue stone is not powerful enough against masters, but its control ability is very powerful. Eclipse wave is a long-range magical attack and a close-up protective secret. It has sufficient lethality and defensive power, but it is not very flexible. If you can master Yuelu swordsmanship, a set of profound offensive skills that are extremely powerful and flexible, with the secret technique, Li Qingyun believed that his overall strength would be greatly improved. Li Qingyun held the jade slip in his hand, concentrated on the Yuelu swordsmanship, and was immersed in the practice of Yuelu swordsmanship. Not only did the key points of Yuelu swordsmanship come to mind, but the key points of Eclipse Wave and Blue Stone, as well as the insights from previous training, were replayed in my mind like light and shadow. At this time, Li Qingyun entered a mysterious state, with an extremely ethereal temperament appearing on his body and face. It is detected that the host has entered the enlightenment state, and the system automatically activates the enlightenment auxiliary function. Start consuming. Li Qingyun was silent in his cultivation, unaware of the passage of time, nor did he know that the genius points he had finally accumulated were passing by at an incredible speed. While Li Qingyun was quietly practicing, he was in the Qingshan Sect spiritual field industry. Sun Liang and Ping En put their hands behind their necks, leaning on the threshed spiritual rice, staring at the vast starry sky over the fields. Senior brother, I didn't expect that it would be the disciples of the Soul Captor Sect who are causing trouble here. I'm so angry. Pinyin stared at the distant stars in the sky with his big eyes, his long eyelashes blinking slightly. It doesn't matter, haven't we two already taken care of them? Master will definitely be satisfied. Sun Liang said. But, senior brother, we finally went down the mountain once, can we go back so easily? Pinyin raised his head and looked at Sun Liang seriously. It's not easy anymore, okay, Pinyin, after all, we have tied up so many of their disciples. Sun Liang pointed to the people tied up by Wu Huada and said helplessly, beside Pinyin and Sun Liang, there were at least 10 soul-calling sect disciples who were trapped together with extremely strong ropes, and each of them had a large piece of rag stuffed in their mouths. The hearts of these tied-up disciples were filled with despair. This young boy who looked so polished actually beat them all by himself. They originally thought that since they were all members of the sect, even if they were defeated, they would just say a few words to save some face and then go home, but this seemingly harmless child brutally tied them all up with ropes. In the end, he did not forget to use spiritual power to seal them and put rags in their mouths. They were kidnapped. I have long heard that the leader of Qingshan Sect, Li Qingyun, likes to kidnap, and he even kidnapped an elder of the sect some time ago, but who would have thought that his 2 disciples also had this kind of virtue? And the next moment, Pinyan's words almost made them cry. Senior brother, these disciples are all outer disciples and worthless. Why don't we go to their gathering point in Xuanhuan City, tie up a few more, exchange them for more money, and make master happy? Among the tied people, a leader could no longer hold back, and let out a suppressed whine from his mouth blocked by a rag. Pinyin turned his head, looked at the leader curiously, and asked abruptly, what are you talking about? Oh. You said we bullied others too much? Pinyin asked. Woo. The leader glared at Pinyin. Oh. Pinyin replied lightly, then turned his head to look at Sun Liang and asked, brother, do you think it's okay? The leader was almost angry to death for how dare he ignore himself. Not taking people seriously at all is simply bullying them too much. Arrogant. Sun Liang looked at the group of people who were tied up and said, if the people in the Xuanhuan City gathering area are as strong as these outer disciples, there should be no problem. The leader was so embarrassed that he rolled his eyes, closed them, and his body shook as if he had fainted. Did that person faint? Pinyin asked. Sun Liang said, no, his breath is very stable. He pretended to faint to hide his embarrassment. The man's eyes went dark and he lost consciousness. Oh, he really fainted this time. Sun Liang said. Hey, master is right. Character is really important. This man's character is not good. Pinyin sighed and commented like a little adult. Then let's go ask brother Lin Jixiao where the gathering place of the soul-snatching sect is in Xuanhuan City. Pinyin said. Sun Liang said, what should we do if we meet a master? Pinyin scratched his head. The escape secret method that Sister Yang Hai gave us should be able to escape. Okay, let's try it. Okay. Just like that, the two made up their minds. In order to make the master happy, they decided to kidnap more people. In order to kidnap more people, they decided to kidnap people in the gathering place of the soul-snatching sect in Xuanhuan City, but the conversation between the two fell into the ears of the soul-snatching sect people who were tied aside and unable to resist but conscious, but had a different understanding. This Qingshan Sect is indeed worthy of its reputation. From the sect master to the disciples, they all like kidnapping. And they are all so wild. How can this be the appearance of an immortal sect? It is clearly a den of bandits, a bunch of bandits. These disciples of the soul-seizing sect who were tied up all had such tragic thoughts in their minds at this time. Watching Sun Lianghe pulling Pinyin who was jumping and jumping away, he couldn't help but regret in his heart. Why did he accept this mission in the first place? He didn't get much benefit when he came here, and was beaten up by these two monsters for nothing, and was tied up as a ticket to exchange for spirit stones. Ah, what kind of monsters are there in the Qingshan Sect? Chapter 56, It's Just Kidnapping. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The two tallest buildings in Xuanhuan City are two towering towers that rise into the sky. Google search reading, these two towers are the legendary Spirit Towers. The Spirit Tower is said to be built by an organization as mysterious as the Tianji Pavilion. It can provide free qualification and talent testing for practitioners, but this organization does not leave garrison personnel in the Spirit Tower. The Spirit Tower is only controlled by local sects and used by themselves. According to the city scale of Xuanhuan City, 2 Spirit Towers can be equipped. Originally, both Spirit Towers were controlled by the Soul-Searching Sect, but since the Soul-Searching Sect lost the last competition between the two sects, the Spirit Tower in the East City was given to the Qingshan Sect, but the Qingshan Sect does not seem to have the intention of using the Spirit Tower to recruit students in Xuanhuan City. After taking over the Spirit Tower, it did not send special personnel to garrison here, but left it idle, so the Spirit Tower looks deserted. In contrast, the Spirit Tower in West City, controlled by the Soul-Snatching Sect, is very lively. No matter what age or cultivation level a cultivator has, he will be received when he comes to the Spirit Tower in West City. As long as he pays a certain amount of spiritual stones, he can be evaluated for different qualifications, but today, 2 special people came to the Spirit Tower. One of them was about 15 or 16 years old, wearing a white linen shirt, with his sleeves and trouser legs rolled up by himself, making him look very simple and clean, with a very outstanding temperament. The other one, who looked about 8 or 9 years old, followed the linen-clothed boy in front. His face was white and looked delicate, and he smiled innocently from time to time. A white-clothed disciple stationed in the Spirit Tower hurried forward to greet them. These 2 people had good temperaments and their talents were likely to be outstanding. Maybe I can receive a genius junior brother today, the disciple thought excitedly. Please stay, I am Lu Benwei, may I ask what you 2 are doing here? The white-clothed disciple Lu Benwei called the 2 and greeted them. Nothing. Pingyan replied, feeling a little annoyed, thinking, was it because his expression was too kind that someone dared to greet him, trying to stop him? Thinking of this, he couldn't help but wrinkled his nose, stared at Lu Benwei with his eyes wide open, and wanted to say something harsh to scare this man, but at this time, Sun Liang pinched Pingyan's palm and stopped Pingyan. Sun Liang asked humbly, I came to pay my respects to the elders of your sect. I wonder if there are any elders on duty in the tower today. Lu Benwei was stunned. He didn't expect that these 2 people were looking for the elders. He said, there are no elders on duty today. I am one of the 2 inner disciples guarding the spiritual tower. If you have anything to say, please tell me and I can convey it to my sect elders. Lu Benwei looked at the delicate child. At this time, he was frowning his name, glaring at his eyebrows, and looked ferocious, but Lu Benwei didn't think he was ferocious at all. He just thought that his ferocious expression was too cute. He even wanted to rub the child's round head. Are you sure there are no elders on duty? Sun Liang asked again. Lu Benwei said, of course, the elders of our sect usually don't enter Xuanhuan City, fearing that they will cause misunderstandings from other sects, so usually the inner disciples are responsible. Speaking of this, Lu Benwei reminded, if you 2 want to test your spiritual veins, you can pay 30 spiritual stones for the test. Sun Liang and Pingyan looked at each other, and there was joy in their eyes. Sun Liang asked Lu Benwei again, how many of your disciples are in the Spirit Tower? Lu Benwei looked at the eyes of the 2 just now, and suddenly felt a little uneasy in his heart, and looking at the appearance of the 2. He felt that he seemed to have heard of 2 people who looked like this somewhere, but who were they? He couldn't remember for a while. He said, if the purpose of the 2 people coming to the Spirit Tower is to play, please tell me, I still have to receive other guests. Hearing this, Pingyan stuck out his tongue and said, we are not here for fun, but for a special purpose. Lu Benwei asked, what purpose? Pingyan's face turned red, he scratched his head, smiled a little embarrassedly, and said shyly, I want to come here to kidnap you. What? Lu Benwei suspected that he had heard it wrong. Oh! Pingyan exclaimed. The next moment, a 2-meter-high axe appeared in his hand and stuck on the ground. Pingyan was too short to hold the bottom of the axe handle. The huge axe and the small Pingyan formed a very weird proportion. He held the axe handle, sighed helplessly, and said, it's just kidnapping. You are from Qingshan Sect. Lu Benwei yelled, and finally remembered why he felt that these two people were familiar. Aren't these two the two from Qingshan Sect who were participating in the competition between the two sects? This child who looked like a delicate figure was the scary kid named Pingyan who defeated senior brother Xuanhuan in the competition. He just wanted to rub his head. Who? The giant axe flew over, and the wooden stick smashed down. The two inner disciples in the spirit tower were no match for Pingyan and Sun Liang. For a moment, the originally peaceful spirit tower of the soul-snatching sect became a mess. In the soul-snatching sect, the second elder and the seventh elder were traveling together, riding a flying magic weapon to fly out. I didn't expect that there would be a traitor in the sect. I have already informed the boy from the Qingshan Sect. The second elder was obviously of high seniority. Even though his cultivation at the Golden Core stage greatly extended his lifespan, he could not hide the age on his face. The deep wrinkles and old skin make him look a little sad and a little more serious. Yes, the seventh elder on the side, who would have thought that Huangquan sect has such a method? Fortunately, it was discovered in time. He sneered, let me tell you, even if Li Qingyun finds out, it won't hurt. Li Qingyun is nothing to be afraid of. The great elder asked us to set off today, but we were too cautious. The second elder said, having said that, it is always right to be cautious. Didn't you also make a mistake in the hands of that kid? Ahem. The seventh elder coughed dryly and changed the subject. It has been a few days since the fifth elder and the sixth elder entered the Wuming Mountain. I wonder how it went. After we have solved the Qingshan Sect incident, should we go to Wuming Mountain to support them? The second elder pondered for a moment. The Wuming Mountain matter is of great importance, and it must not be that easy to obtain the ghost spirit pearl. The great elder suffered a serious injury a few days ago. Although he is unwilling to disclose any information about Wuming Mountain, according to my guess, his incarnation should have fallen in Wuming Mountain. You can see how dangerous the Wuming Mountain is. How can the ghost spirit pearl be so easy to get? I'd better not interfere without authorization. The seventh elder said, that's fine. At this time, he saw that the second elder was in a heavy mood, so he said, we are reaching Shuangliu City ahead. How about I go to see the spiritual pagoda in Shuangliu City together? Don't look at the Qingshan Sect who took back a spiritual pagoda, but Li Qingyun doesn't do business at all. He abandoned the spiritual pagoda and weeds grew up at the door. But our sect's spiritual pagoda in Shuangliu City is full of bustling houses and prosperous. Of course, the second elder knew the meaning of the second elder's words, and it was not easy to discredit him at this time, so he nodded in agreement. The two of them adjusted their direction slightly, planning to go and see what the seventh elder had said about the prosperous spiritual pagoda with bustling crowds. Chapter 57, Raising an Army to Punish. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The two of them rode on a flying magic weapon and looked down from mid-air. Sure enough, from a distance, a thick wall of people surrounded the spiritual tower in the West City. Google search reading. Well, not bad, it's really crowded. The second elder raised his eyebrows when he saw so many people outside the spiritual tower, and was a little surprised. No. The seventh elder said proudly, but he also had some questions in his heart. Why are there so many people today? Although there are people on weekdays, there are not so many. Did Lu Ben do something eye-catching for that kid and attract a large group of people to watch? Come closer and take a look. The second elder was obviously very interested in these mortals watching, and urged the magic weapon to get closer to the bottom to find out. The two landed the flying magic weapon and stood behind the crowd, but the crowd in front of them was too enthusiastic, blocking the two who were unwilling to use magic power, and they couldn't get in for a while. The second elder obviously hadn't seen such a lively scene for a long time. He smiled and praised the seventh elder. Not bad, it's well managed, it's really a lively and prosperous scene. The seventh elder was even more satisfied and said with a smile, Second elder, you are too kind. These disciples in the spirit tower are smart. I will praise them when I go in later. Haha, that's good. The second elder laughed. Both of them had happy smiles on their faces, and they were very harmonious. The seventh elder thought that it was really good to bring the second elder this time. Once the second elder was happy, it was like one more person to speak for himself when he made a decision-making mistake in the small competition between the two sections. It was a mistake, but it didn't have any impact on the sect. Then let's go in together. The second elder said. The seventh elder agreed, of course. Okay, let's see what these guys are doing. The two used their magic power lightly, and the next moment, they entered the spirit tower together, the second elder. The seventh elder. They finally knew that there were so many mortals watching at the door. At this time, the reception hall of the spiritual tower, which should have been luxurious, looked like it had just been looted. The exquisite tables and chairs, as well as the expensive test instruments, seemed to have just been fought and were scattered all over the floor. The walls, floors, and stairs, none of them survived intact. The second elder looked at the seventh elder with a puzzled look on his face, as if he wanted a reasonable explanation. Looking at the ruins in front of him, the seventh elder was so angry that he trembled all over. He had just foolishly thought that this was a disciple's activity. And he praised them for being smart and capable. His eyes were red, and he was obviously extremely angry. The spiritual energy around him was raging uncontrollably, and he shouted angrily, "Who did it?" Seeing someone coming from the spiritual tower outside the door, and it seemed that he was a high-level cultivator, the original voices of discussion stopped in an instant. A child heard the seventh elder yelling and pointed at the wall behind the seventh elder. The seventh elder and the second elder turned around in shock and found a row of words written crookedly on the wall. "I have kidnapped all the 30 people here. If you want them, you can exchange them for 30,000 spirit stones." The handwriting was crooked, like a child's handwriting, but fortunately, every word was written correctly without a single typo. However, with such a row of kidnapping information, even the kidnapper's information and the transaction ransom method were not written, which clearly showed that it was a novice kidnapper. The seventh elder was even more angry when he saw this passage. "Who is it? How dare you make fun of my soul-snatching sect? You are using a child's handwriting to fool me. And you deliberately didn't write the location. Is there any point in using such means?" But before he finished speaking, the original child said, "I know who they are. They are the two brothers who fought on the ring last time." The seventh elder was shocked, staring with his eyes wide open, and looked at another middle-aged man with spiritual power fluctuations beside him as if to verify, "Are they the two disciples of the Qingshan Sect?" The middle-aged man nodded imperceptibly. "Did you see it with your own eyes?" The middle-aged man nodded again, then retreated and disappeared into the crowd. He obviously did not want to participate in the struggle between the two major sects, and only dared to nod slightly to reveal some information he knew. "Qingshan Sect is so arrogant?" the second elder asked in a deep voice. The seventh elder's intense emotions gradually calmed down, and the gloomy murderous intent slowly emerged from him. He hissed, "In this case, let these guys pay the price. If I accidentally killed Li Qingyun during the sparring, I think the elder would not blame me." Sun Liang and Ping An's hands flashed, and the troublemakers in the spirit field, plus the guards in the spirit tower, 40 soul-snatching sect disciples who were trapped and stuffed with rags in their mouths, were thrown into the open space of the sect by him. He. Ping An and Sun Liang smiled triumphantly, clapped their hands and cheered. Mission accomplished. Lu Bo, who was cleaning on the side, saw this scene, and his originally lazy face twitched at this time. "But the master hasn't come back yet. What if their elders come looking for us?" Ping An seemed to have suddenly thought of the key point. They were kidnapped, but no one would come to clean up their mess. Sun Liang said, "The elder has been in seclusion for several days. He will probably come out soon. What if Sister Yang doesn't come out either?" Sun Liang. "Yes, if there is no elder, they will be unable to resist any foundation establishment cultivator from the soul-snatching sect just because of the two of them." At this time, Feng Yong suddenly ran over from the main hall. His face was very panicked, and he shouted, "Oh no, there are two soul-catching sect elders in the main hall, two supreme elders. They look like they are going to call for punishment. The sect master is not here, and the great elder has not come out of retreat. What should I do?" Sun Liang asked calmly. did you tell him that the master is gone? Oh, I told them, but they didn't believe it, and they specifically asked you and Pingyan to go up to meet them. Feng Yong was obviously panicked. He had never seen a big man like the great elder of the soul-catching sect, and he came to call for punishment. How could he not panic? Don't panic. Sun Liang patted Feng Yong on the shoulder and comforted him, take the two of us up to have a look. After that, he turned around and put the 40 tied disciples of the soul-catching sect back into the storage ring again, and said to Pingyan, let's go, Pingyan, let's go to meet these two supreme elders from the soul-catching sect for the master. Okay. Pingyan followed excitedly. Feng Yong saw that Sun Liang and Pingyan were not afraid at all, and he could not help but feel a little relieved. He calmed down and walked towards the hall with Sun Liang and Pingyan. At this time, in the hall, the second elder and the seventh elder were angry about their disciples being kidnapped by the disciples of Qingshan Sect. At this time, they were also angry. The Qingshan Sect built a great hall. It was much more luxurious than the soul-seizing sect. Did they not take the soul-seizing sect seriously? The seventh elder thought to himself, Li Qingyun, this scoundrel, was extravagant and was really not to be feared. The second elder thought to himself, this hall is flashy, could it be that Li Qingyun is really a worthless waste as the seventh elder said? In Dihua city, Li Qingyun, who was immersed in cultivation, suddenly sneezed. Chapter 59, Surfaced. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The second elder and the seventh elder did not expect that these two young and respectful disciples would dare to say bad things about them in front of them, and they were stunned for a while. Google search reading. The next moment, the second elder said, since you two juniors have made it so clear, then we should be more straightforward. Sun Liang said, Senior, please speak. The second elder said, we are here, as you think, to cause trouble, but since your elders are not here, we will not bully you juniors. Come with us to Soul Capture Sect and ask your master to ask for someone from Soul Capture Sect when he comes back. As soon as the second elder said these words, Pingyan's little face turned the color of bitter melon. The second elder felt proud and said, sure enough, even a kid with heavenly roots and no fear of heaven and earth will still be afraid. Pingyan asked with a painful look on his face, how much money are you going to let my master pay to redeem us? Second elder. The seventh elder hurriedly said, we, the Soul Captor Sect, disdain to use such bandit methods. You're talking nonsense, Pingyan said aggrievedly, his face full of pain, you are a fool if you don't earn money if you have money. When he said this, Pingyan was thinking in his mind. He had captured 40 people for his master. Each person had 1,000 spirit stones. 40 people, he had earned 40,000 spirit stones for his master. The soul-taking sect tied them two back. If the Soul Captor Sect is so shameless, they will definitely not pay the market price of 1,000 spirit stones per person. If they ask for an outrageous price, they will ask for more than 40,000 spirit stones. Then Pingyan has made a loss-making deal. When the little calculation came to this point, Pingyan couldn't help but feel even more distressed. Unexpectedly, he originally wanted to make his master happy, but this time he was captured by these two hateful old men and made a loss-making deal for his master. The second elder and the seventh elder were speechless for a while. There was something wrong with this child's brain circuitry. He said he would take them away. What he doubted was not his own personal safety, but actually felt sorry for the ransom. I hope this child's brain can be cured in the future. Bar. How about we make a deal? Pingyan gritted his teeth and said crisply again. The second elder's face twitched, but he still replied, what kind of deal? Pingyan seemed to have made a lot of determination. He took a deep look at Sun Liang and said, how about you let me and my senior brother Sun Liang go, and we also let go of the 30 disciples kidnapped from your spiritual pagoda? That the seventh elder said, of course I know that those 30 disciples are in your hands, but if I take you back, won't these 30 disciples also return to the soul-capturing sect? That's right. Pingyan scratched his head and said in annoyance, he asked, what should I do? I don't want to go to your soul-capturing sect. What fun is there in your soul-capturing sect? Feng Yong watched the conversation between these people and wondered. Although Pingyan was cute in normal times, he would never say so many meaningless words. But now he said so many words. Could it be that he was delaying time? But who are you waiting for to delay? Even if the sect master comes back, what's the point of facing these two powerful soul-capturing elders? How could an old goblin like the second elder fail to see Ping Yan's purpose? But he didn't care. He smiled and said, "Are you stalling for time to wait for your master? Don't waste your efforts. Your master is a foundation-building monk. Even if he comes back, what can he do? He will only bring humiliation to himself." Ping Yan said angrily, "You are not allowed to say that about my master. When my master comes back, you will definitely have some good things to eat." Ha 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 ha. The second elder and the seventh elder seemed to have heard some big joke, and they laughed together. The second elder said, "Okay, wait until Li Qingyun comes back, so that you can see how useless the master you admire is and recognize his face." There was another sentence he didn't say: "This is how we can take your Tianling away from Li Qingyun. You asked me just now what fun things there are in the soul capture sect, so I'll tell you." The second elder said, "There are 500 disciples of your age in the soul capture sect who can play with you, unlike your Qingshan Sect, which only has 2 pitiful people now." "Oh, 500 people, that's quite a lot." Ping Yan replied, but he muttered in his heart, "But it is enough to have one senior brother to play with. What is the use of so many people, but if they are all tied up?" The second elder said, "There are 7 elders in the soul capture sect who are above the golden core level. Their cultivation level is much higher than that of Li Qingyun. They are more suitable than Li Qingyun to be your master and guide you in your practice." Ping Yan glanced at the second elder with disdain. How could it be possible? The second elder saw that these did not seem to be very attractive to Ping Yan, so he took a deep breath and said, "There is also a residence in the soul capture sect with a spiritual energy concentration that is twice as high as that in the outside world, which can improve your practice efficiency. There is also a huge flower tower. The small and simple spirit control array built with spirit stones is very useful for understanding the outward release of spiritual power. In this way, I can grant you permission to use it once a month." Ping Yan and Sun Liang looked at each other, turned around and looked at the second elder like a fool. Xiong Jianmu and Li Qingyun were sitting on a car-shaped flying magic weapon, with Sun Lianqing sitting behind them. According to the speed of this magic weapon, it can fly back to Qingshan Sect within half an hour. Sun Lianqing said. Li Qingyun nodded and said nothing. For half an hour, he was confident that his 2 apprentices could handle it. At this time, Xiong Jianmu took out a jade slip from his arms, stuffed it into Li Qingyun's hand, and said, "Sect Masterly, this is a legend I have learned from some of the sect's followers during this period. It may be related to Sidiquan's plan." "Related? Thank you." Li Qingyun took the jade slip. He carefully sensed the jade slips and found that the jade slips recorded all absurd and weird things, and even some tidbits of news. He read them one by one. "When I read an article about the soul-capturing sect, every sect leader would raise demons with his body, but if you cannot break through the heavens within 100 years, you will be eaten by demons. Therefore, the soul-taking sect has been looking for magic weapons with evil aura all year round. In fact, it is to raise demons. Raising demons will reward the breeders with huge benefits." The system sends a message. The hidden mission, the secret of the 10,000 soul pills, has new progress. Mission requirements: find out the secrets contained in the 10,000 soul pills. And at the end of the mission, he attacked the soul captors. Mission rewards: Point 1, 200, 3000 genius points. Point 2. Hidden attributes are 5,000, and the hidden attributes are completely turned on. 3. Renovate a building. Note, this mission is a long-term mission and can be paralleled with other missions. It is recommended that the host accumulate strength before taking action against the soul capture sect. Progress: the secret of the devil has been discovered. The soul-calling sect is looking for ghost spirit beads and 10,000 soul pills in order to raise the so-called devil. Raising the devil in order to get the rewards given by the devil, 81 10,000 soul pills plus ghost spirit beads will give Xuanhuan has brought immeasurable benefits. Li Qingyun knew that this immeasurable benefit would probably allow Xuanhuan to break through the nascent soul and reach the realm of heaven and man. After all, for a person who has been trapped in the nascent soul for many years, the temptation to break through to heaven is something he cannot resist. A major breakthrough in completing the hidden mission. Reward the host with 1,000 genius points. Chapter 60, A Good Match. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, I've drank 2 more cups of tea, and Li Qingyun hasn't come back yet. It's time to go. The second elder put down the tea in his hand and said, during this period of time, he had already talked about the fun parts of the soul capture sect, the history of soul capture, the founding of Dihua Mansion, and finally the secrets of the mainland. Even though he liked peace from the bottom of his heart, he had no patience at this time. Ping An hurriedly said, "You haven't finished speaking yet." "All right." The second elder had a solemn expression and interrupted Ping An's words, "The waiting time has been enough. Now, you must come with me." Ping An and Sun Liang looked at each other. With their strength, they would not be stupid enough to go head-to-head with these 2 supreme elders of the soul-capturing sect. Sun Liang said, "Then let's go back and clean up. Once we leave, we probably won't have a chance to come back." Ping An also said, "Yes, we need to pack our luggage." "Go ahead," the second elder sneered, "let me see if you have any other tricks." Sun Liang and Ping An ran outside holding hands and disappeared at the entrance of the hall. The seventh elder looked at the backs of the 2 disciples and said, "The eldest disciple has a very good character and remains calm in times of crisis. My little disciple has a good character and a very good talent. He is really a good young man." The second elder said, "Yes, these 2 good young talents have already surpassed the qualifications of most of the core disciples of our soul-capturing sect." The seventh elder said, "I really don't know how virtuous and capable this Li Qingyun is, but he is so lucky to receive such a good seedling." "Hey," the second elder sighed and looked at the sky outside the main hall door, "such a good seedling should appear in Dihua Mansion and should be cultivated by our soul captor sect. It is really hard to give this Li Qingyun a useless foundation-building monk. What a waste. It's really not a good match for these 2 good young talents to appear in a rundown sect like Qingshan Sect." Suddenly, a chuckle sounded outside the hall. "Huh, what you 2 said is quite consistent with the shameless style of your soul captor sect." "Who?" That the second elder's expression changed drastically, and he actually detected a dangerous aura from this voice. With his cultivation in the middle stage of nascent soul, he has not felt life-threatening in this Dihua Mansion for who knows how many years. "Who?" That the people outside the palace chuckled again. "You are sitting in my house and asking me who I am. Is it wrong? Li Qingyun." The seventh elder lost his voice. "How is it possible?" "Yes, that's what you call trash, Li Qingyun." Li Qingyun's figure suddenly appeared in front of the second elder and the seventh elder. As soon as he rushed back to the sect, he heard these 2 old immortals talking bad things about him. What's even more outrageous is that they actually want to seize Li Qingyun's apprentice, want to take away Sun Liang and Ping An. This really angered Li Qingyun. After getting along for a while, Li Qingyun and Sun Liangping were as close as family members. Now these 2 old bastards actually said they wanted to steal his apprentice. "I'm not worthy of being their master. Do you 2 old bastards deserve it?" Li Qingyun's voice was hoarse, and he was obviously extremely angry. "I'm the same age as your father, and I'm qualified to be your master. Why can't I be the master of these 2 boys?" That the second elder had come to his senses at this time. Although Li Qingyun did not know what method he had used to improve his strength, the fluctuations in his spiritual power still did not exceed that of nascent soul, and he felt a little calmer. At this time, when he heard Li Qingyun calling him an old bastard, he sneered and replied, "Just because you want to be my master." Li Qingyun was so angry that he no longer wanted to talk nonsense with the second elder, and directly attacked the second elder. "Old bastard, take the move." Feng Yong, who was originally standing aside, saw Li Qingyun come up and scold the 2 elders like an old bastard. and then directly attacked them without distinguishing their confessions. He shouted with joy in his heart, and the feeling of being suppressed and bullied by these two elders was mostly released at this moment. It feels so good. The sect master is indeed brave enough. You can't give face to these two old bastards. It seems that the young master's habit of saying bad things directly to one's face was learned from the sect master. Of course, while shouting for joy, Feng Yongyuan fled the battlefield. A battle of this level, even the aftermath, could make him, a young Qi practitioner, shattered to pieces. Shuzi, how dare you! The second elder was attacked indiscriminately by Li Qingyun, and now he took action directly, not taking him seriously, and also angered him. A streak of red flames came straight towards the second elder. The second elder could not avoid it at this time, so he stopped dodging and used all his strength to fight Li Qingyun, but for Li Qingyun, who had been blessed by the mountain protecting formation, the power of this eclipse wave was countless times more powerful than before. The original state of Li Qingyun's moves, spiritual power, foundation building Dzogchen, realm of spiritual power takes form, secret technique control. The first level of Huangjie's top-grade blue stone is perfect, Huangjie's top-grade eclipse wave completed, swordsmanship, introduction to Yuelu swordsmanship. The realm after promotion, spiritual power, golden elixir Dzogchen, realm of spiritual power reaches its subtleties, secret technique control. The second level of Huang's top-grade blue stone is complete, Huangjie's top-grade eclipse wave second level small achievement, swordsmanship, introduction to the second level of Yuelu swordsmanship. Currently, the host has 400 genius points left, which is enough for 4 attacks. That this move eclipse wave carries the endless power of the formation. Even though the second elder also masters the secret method of great success, he has no power to fight back in front of this second level yellow level eclipse wave move. The second elder was burned by the flames brought by the eclipse wave, and the powerful impact force slammed him to the ground. One move. Just one move, and the second elder in the middle stage of the nascent soul was injured. The seventh elder looked at Li Qingyun with fear on his face. What did you do, actually? Li Qingyun glanced at the seventh elder coldly. I will settle accounts with you later. The injured second elder adjusted his spiritual power again and rushed up. I didn't expect that your broken place would have such a terrifying formation blessing. I really underestimated you. After saying this, the second elder took out a scroll from his arms, and the scroll suddenly glowed brightly. Water torture formation, that it turned out to be a formation. I didn't expect that the second elder actually carried a water-attributed formation with him. After this formation was released, the power of Li Qingyun's eclipse wave would definitely be greatly reduced if nothing unexpected happened. You old man actually knows the formation. Li Qingyun didn't dodge the second elder's formation and was directly covered by the formation. He once used the formation to kill a seriously injured rhinoceros leopard beast in the middle stage of the nascent soul. In his prime, the second elder who still mastered some formations was only slightly stronger than the rhinoceros leopard beast that was ranked among the 1,000 fierce beasts. He used 3 attacks to kill the rhinoceros leopard beast. Now facing the stronger second elder, he still has 300 genius points left. He must make him lose the ability to resist. Your fire attribute secret method can't be used. It seems that you can only use other means. If there is no other means, I advise you to surrender. The second elder said in a calm tone with a hint of pride. Li Qingyun raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect that the second elder actually thought so. Who told you that I can only have one secret method? Before he finished speaking, a giant hand fell from the sky. Moreover, this giant hand fell into Li Qingyun's eyes and found that it had undergone a huge change compared with before. The previous giant hand only had a palm, but now there was an extra arm from the outside. It really looked like Li Qingyun's outstretched hand. As the level of blue stone improves, blue stone evolves.